Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Avatar Face to Face, weekly program dealing with arts and culture, world arts and culture. And we are here today to introduce to you a major undertaking that's currently being planned that we're prepared to go forward with in collaboration with the Afui Culture Organization. So today is my guest. I'm proud and honored to have her as my guest, the president and artistic director of the Afui Culture Organization, Miss Antoinette Pitkins. How you doing, sis?
I'm good,
You all right?
thanks.
We're going to speak today a little bit about what it is that you will be seeing in the coming weeks. Each week we will be producing a series of television programs addressing the cultural integration of the Caribbean with those of the United States, as well as we begin to salute the 50th anniversary of independence for the countries of Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago. And with this, we are going to talk about a program called Carob Gold. So, Antoinette, let us kind of begin our show today with talking, give us a few points of highlights about who Afro culture is.
Afro culture, it's ours. The colloquial, I guess the vernacular. It speaks to the vernacular, Jamaican vernacular, verbal vernacular,
Mm-hmm.
and the statement Afro means it's ours. Uh, it's kind of a funny way I came into the whole Afro when we were trying to figure out what it was. I was working with the Urban Art Corvin at Carroll Theater about 20 years ago. Um, was a theater major in school and did uh, at the time regional theater, was involved in being that ingenue here in New York City when you're
Mm-hmm.
going into the arts. And it was funny, I came out of classical theater and wanted to understand more about the culture, the Caribbean aspect of arts and theater, because in school we do Shakespeare,
Mm-hmm.
and at the time it was the drive for black theater, as it was at the time. Vinette was doing the River Niger on Broadway. There was Pippin on Broadway, and Ragtime was
Okay.
on the heels. Um, but I felt at the time that I was going a little bit too far away from who I was, and decided that I wanted to know more about it. So when I went into it, I went in hard, because when you become that far removed, that whole dynamic of belonging and figuring out who, what, when, where, why, and how you are became, that ideal thing at the time. And so Afui, I kept on using the term Afui, Afui, Afui. And I said, the then Consul General at the time, it was Jamaica 30th,
Okay.
and I had designed the look of Jamaica 30th for Jamaica, for the Jamaican consulate at the time. Consul General at the time was Kay Baxter.
Mm-hmm.
She has since passed. Uh, and I did it for Michael Escoffrey. I did it along with Michael Escoffrey. And Kay, in one of the meetings, she had seen me read, and she would always call on me to do these readings. And she said, in looking at the tapestry of New York City, she was not seeing what she wanted to see was something that was true to the nature of the Caribbean, not just Jamaica, but to the Caribbean. And said to me, you should consider doing this. And I laughed. I really
Okay.
laughed, because, I mean, I am so not into being that front person. But anyway, decided to do it. And when I decided to do it, I didn't know exactly where I was going to go with it at the time, because I was doing African American theater here. I mean, I had worked with the Urban Art Corps. I had worked with Renaissance Theater. I'd worked with so many theaters here in New York that Jamaican theater and Caribbean theater was that much in the background of everything. But I became a member of CART, the Caribbean American Repertory Theater at the time, with Neville Richin and some of the old people. As we get to know one another, we realize that somehow our backgrounds kind of parallel one another.
Right.
Okay. I was at the time working with Charles Grant Green and Neville Richin, and Leon Morenzi was on Broadway doing the Leaf People, I remember. And I kept on looking at everything and saying, Afui, 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 because this whole thing didn't make sense to me. Here it is, you're being exposed to this. And when you go home, at home, indigenously, what happens in your household, everything remains Caribbean, everything remains Jamaican. You're still eating rice and peas. You're still eating all of this stuff, but when you go out there, it's jambalaya and etouffee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I looked at it and said, but it's all mine, because it does make up who I am. So Afiwe was this thing, but I felt that the purpose, what was going to be the fundamental purpose of the company, what was going to be our message, what did we want to say, and I felt we wanted to make a stance on not just arts and culture, but leadership. And
so this has been going on like 20 years?
Yeah, 20 years.
20 years.
It was founded in 1992.
Right.
February of 1992. And as much as it was dispersed, mixing arts, culture, and leadership, I don't think you can do one without doing the other. Because I think culture is something that's of the people, and it's lived through the people, and that which becomes culture. And the arts, I think, it's the expression of the voice of the people.
Absolutely.
And leadership, you cannot have one without the other. And even though I'm told constantly it's taking on too much, I don't think it's taking on too much, because I do think that they all are intertwined.
Right.
Because when leaders need a voice to speak, who do they go to?
That's right.
The artist.
And you're absolutely right, because the key to this is about the people.
Exactly.
It's really kind of the foundation of even of Avatar Foundation. It's really about a spiritual nature.
Yes.
It's really about the creativity of its people, so the indigenous part of that. And when you do look at the arts, you look at who are performing the arts, and it is the people.
The people.
And it kind of allows us, where you went the leadership route, we took another route that is a form of leadership. We took the training route of developing careers behind the scenes, so that people get the full spectrum of what's available in the field of art and culture. When you begin to look at that mission that we both seem to share, it's really kind of a no-brainer.
Yes.
Why we are able to come together and make this collaboration. So, for those looking in on us, we are collaborating, both of our organizations, the Afrowe Culture Organization and the Avatar Foundation, because our missions are very, very similar. And we want to be able to do it in a way that allows us to work within our given mission and to begin to impact those that we're very concerned about, and that is really the people.
Yep.
Arts and culture kind of comes out of that.
Yes.
So when we got together, we took this idea that you had and said, let's do it, let's put this expression out there, and let's put a face on it. And thus you're going to see the results of that collaboration in the form of
Carob Gold.
You got to tell them again.
Carob Gold.
Carob Gold. And just give them a quick understanding of the definition of Carob Gold.
Carob Gold is a celebration of Caribbean arts and culture throughout the span of 50 years.
Right.
As we look at the twin island of Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica, they're both celebrating their 50th anniversary this year, 50 years of independence. Now, when we speak of the Caribbean culture, and when we speak of the cultures of the diasporas, we do have to look at the past, the present, as well as the future. And Carob Gold, I think, is the true expression of, for want of a better phrase, the regurgitation of our colonial past. That colonial past that speaks to the English, French, Dutch speaking Caribbean, as well as the States,
Right.
as well as the South. In the South, there's the Geechee Islands, and you can't tell a Caribbean person different from a person from the Geechee.
Right.
I found that out. Learned that a few years back.
Thus is that Gullah Fest. That
That's
happens in
right.
South Carolina.
That's right.
Really,
And
South Carolina.
and New Orleans, the culture of New Orleans, the Creole culture of New Orleans.
Right.
The more you look into, you just need to skim the surface to realize that. So, Carob Gold gives us kind of a viewmaster. Remember those old viewmasters?
Right.
It's looking through those eyes, through the eyes of Carnival, that we're looking at the culture or cultures of the Caribbean and how they intermingle and how they're influenced by the cultures of the U.S. and the global market, the United Kingdom, Europe in general, and
right.
Asia, because the cultures of the Caribbean is made up of that.
It's interesting the potpourri of ethnicities that have been kind of placed in this mold, in this mix to create this culture, and so when you're looking at the view of Carnival, and you stop and you look at that, and it's a global carnival.
Yeah.
So what is it that you see? This kaleidoscope of all of these colors and all of these elements that make up the carnival, that are really brought to it by the people who make the carnival. So it's a celebration then of what we always call the rites, rituals, and traditions of a culture. And, you're beginning then to see really the avatar within the spirit of the people that enable then for various expressions to kind of explode on the scene. And we're looking to do some of that here in New York. And the purpose of that, when we look at Carob Gold, is to be able to kind of again go into our missions, is to collaborate on a global basis to be able to present those kinds of this culture and all that it represents. But I think it's important to just speak to the fact again that this is a Caribbean, standing for Carob Gold is Caribbean, so it isn't just kind of a Jamaican piece or a Trinidadian and Tobago piece. So it's really kind of an expression of an entire culture.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is because, for so many years, both Jamaica and Trinidad, they're two of the larger islands. Number one, Trinidad is really on the tip of South America, really, if you want to really get technical about it, but it is in the Caribbean Sea. Okay? So there's the West Indies and there's the Caribbean. But we chose, both Avatar and Afui, collectively, to look at the effect or the affect of these islands on the other islands as well as on the global market, because when you speak of the Caribbean, you speak of music. The first thing that comes to mind is Bob Marley. So everybody has a Bob Marley story. It's in church Sunday, and the minister was quoting Bob Marley.
He made his mark, made his impact.
You know, he was quoting from Three Little Birds, um, and Kaiso and Calypso and Kaiso, which is a direct derivative of the music of Africa and the merengue. You can't go away from it. And when you look at that, you look at the you look at the significant makeup of both islands. Trinidad has a very strong Indian influence, Indian population there. You know, sometimes there are some conflicts, yes. Jamaica has a very strong Indian, Chinese, Jewish population. When you look at the people there, when you look at Barbados, you know, you see that mix, which is why for so many years they say it's a Creole culture.
Right.
I wanted to establish the fact that when we look at the cultures of the Caribbean, it's neither one nor the other. There are so many components that makes it up. That makes up this potpourri or callaloo.
Right. Yeah. That's right.
As we walk you through this minefield of the Caribbean, and you yourself taste the flavors of the Caribbean and see
Right.
how the spices and how the things are mixed. And sometimes, you know, we hear, oh, but that's Indian. Oh, but that's an Indian curry.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Or my grandmother makes that stew, you know. And you see that rice and peas is Hoppin' John, you know. And you see that, oh, so macaroni and cheese, is it made different? No, it's
Right,
not made
right.
any different.
Collard greens is
Collard
greens
greens
on
is
one
collard
end, yeah.
greens, you know, and it's
Right.
callaloo, and spinach is spinach. But when we really look at it, we look at the influences. One of the things that Avatar does and that we do in Afui is a strong jazz background. Okay, and in Afui, you know, we are pretty proud of or a little big band orchestra that we have that's headed up by Carmen Loboy.
Right.
And the fact that we in Afui are able to pull a multicultural group of artists together under one roof, and sometimes we pull pretty damn near all 32 of them
Okay.
together to come in and work in this company to either dance or in the band, or you know, whatever production it is we're putting together. That expression of oneness is a beautiful
That's right.
thing to see. And Avatar, you know, I found it really ironic when I saw the name Avatar, when I came in contact with it, because I have said for a while it is the avatar in Afui, that whole spiritual thing that happens, that when you stand objectively of it and you look at it and you say, wow, I just love it when a plan comes
When
together.
it comes together, which is I think let's take a little time and talk about the plan.
The plan.
You know, Carob Gold. We've tossed things around and have come up with a working calendar.
Yes, we have.
You know, maybe you want to share with our listening audience some of what we're proposing to do in this calendar, and we want you to be aware that it's a work in progress, but we've been able to focus in on it and begin to take elements of this culture through the arts and culture aspect of it, and put together a calendar of events that we're proposing for the year 2012.
Okay, so we say spin. You know, the folkloric icon for storytelling from, is it East Africa, is the spider.
Right.
And it says, I spin a web, I tell a tale. And through the eyes of Carnival, and through the eyes of Anansi, the storyteller, which is the storyteller, we're able to look at the art. Through the art, we're able to galvanize that visual expression of who and what these people are. And, in terms of who are the Caribbean people,
Right.
and what are they. And we have looked at various artists and their expressions and what they bring to the table. And for us, I think, I can speak for both of us, I think what we're looking at from the artist is the expression. It's a collective expression of all the things that makes up the person that the story is told, in the face, in the rhythm, in the style.
Right.
And
Right, that's right.
that's carried through. And so rhythm takes us into music. And you can't speak of the Caribbean without speaking of the music of the Caribbean.
Right.
You cannot speak of the music of the Caribbean without speaking to reggae music, kaiso, calypso, tipica, bachata, compa. We cannot, because these are all the music of the Caribbean. And so our expression is just that. It's that whole compository of rhythms that makes up this Caribbean. We are not able to, which makes us one Caribbean, or one people, or
Right.
Ja people, as they put it.
But I think what goes with, and we want to just utilize our time a little different. What goes with music is the expression of dance.
Right.
I mean, you have to be able to take all of that is you, or is your culture, and begin to express that. So there's a music element, there's a dance element, there's other forms of expression, artistic stuff, and it's going to be a very fantastic kind of a year that's being proposed out here. But I wanted to kind of share with our listening audience the fact that we're going to be inviting the whole public. It's a global, universal kind of approach.
Yes.
To participate in this particular calendar that we're doing,
Yes.
called Carob Gold, and to help us in the spreading of the word in terms of participating as part of the attendance and stuff of that nature, going forward, because I think this is a unique opportunity for a number of reasons, when we're taking a particular culture that is representative of the globe.
Yes, it is.
And we're taking some of the most fundamental parts of the culture in terms of its artistic expression.
Yes.
And we're beginning to do this, right here in the United States.
Yes.
And looking at how we highlight people of Caribbean ancestry, some of the descendants and all of that kind of thing, in terms of getting our message out. And I know within that there is going to be a specific celebration of Jamaica, its 50th anniversary, within that. So we want to kind of invite all of you to come and join us, be on the lookout for what it is that we're presenting, some of the promotional elements of it. Be on the lookout for that. You'll be hearing a continuation of this program on radio. We'll have a presence on WVOX AM 1460 on the dial, and WVIP HD, so that you can type in on your computer WVOX.com and see us while we're in the studio, again, broadcasting and promoting all of the events that are being planned here, a continuation of this conversation and dialogue, seeing what a collaboration can mean, does mean, will be, and it may be a message to you to look at what that collaboration means. And there may be things that you have of interest and certainly in common with someone else, and begin to put the two forces together. This will be a very, very unique situation, and we're going to have some fun with that. So you have two artistic people, a performer and a creative thinker, coming together, and we're saying, hey, listen, let's do this. Let's show who we are. Let's highlight who we are. So I want to just share with you the excitement that I'm certainly caught up in. And the food is great, the dance is good, but I want to be able to let you know that for further information, please feel free to contact the Avatar, AVITAR Foundation of Westchester. And you can find us on the web at avatarfoundation.org and begin to learn more about what it is we're talking about. For more information, there are forms built in to that website, so you can always place your comments, and we're looking for your total support in what it is that we're proposing to do on a very global basis. So if there's any other information in terms of how to reach you,
They can email us at afeweculture, that's AFEWE, and the word culture, at yahoo.com.
Okay.
Or afeweculture2, the number 2, at yahoo.com.
Okay, give that again real quick so we can.
It's afeweculture, AFEWE, and the word culture, at yahoo.com. Or AFEWE, the number 2, at yahoo.com.
Excellent. So that's a way to be able to reach Antoinette. You can reach us, myself, Dillard Boone. I'm both chairman of the Avatar Foundation and co-executive producer, along with Antoinette and the Carob Gold. And as is our motto each and every day, is that the dream is in the mind of the believer and in the hands of the doer. And you are not given that dream without being given the power to make it happen. So with that, we're going to sign off and look for you to join us each week as we begin to unfold and unravel this whole concept called Carob Gold. Have a good afternoon. Peace.